do? What you gonna do when they come for you? Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you?
Susan Baker, you're under arrest by the evidence-based practice police. You used a quasi-experimental design in your last published research article. What were you thinking?
I was studying a naturally occurring real-world situation. Quasi-experimental designs are especially useful in naturally occurring real-world situations. I also had some financial constraints, so this design worked out well.
True, those are two good reasons to use a quasi-experimental design. But your research lacked randomization. Sometimes random selection may be unrealistic, but you use convenience sampling. You know what that means, right? Your results can't be generalized if there's not random selection.
But convenience sampling is the most popular type of sampling since it's the easiest and least expensive of all sampling techniques. It's used when it's impractical to randomly sample the entire population of interest. To minimize the impact of this disadvantage, the subjects in the study groups were matched so that there were commonalities in such items as socioeconomic status, age, gender, diagnosis.
I suppose I could let you off the hook this time. But remember, another way to minimize the impact of the lack of randomization would be to randomly assign the subjects to the research groups, even though they weren't randomly selected from the target population. Have a nice day, Miss Baker. Next week, I'll be checking to see if your reference list has any errors.
Hi, it's Vanessa and Vicky with EVP. Wow. You'll be saying wow every time you use evidence-based practice to treat a client. It incorporates the therapist's experience, the best research, and the client's goals, values, and circumstances. This works with kids and adults.
Why is evidence-based practice important? There's better effectiveness of care and in a timely fashion. It ensures quality of care, and it helps us stay current.
Not to mention, it closes the gap between evidence and practice.
Exactly, and as a result, we have a rapid rate of medical advances. It's also important for insurance purposes, and it helps to resolve ethical dilemmas.
See what I'm telling you? You'll be saying wow every time.
Oh my gosh, I don't even use any other approach. All I can say is EBP.
Wow.
Welcome to the Bachelor Reunion after the final rose. At the end of this season, we saw that Jim had selected Karen to be his mother's OT, and she accepted. They were collaborating for 3 months when things began to get rocky. Jim discovered that the research articles Karen was using to rehabilitate his mother were not good research articles.
It's true. Karen did not keep her promise to take care of my mother with an evidence-based practice approach. She didn't keep up to date and use the best research. I was wrong when I selected her. She was not the OT for me.
I'm sorry to hear that, Jim. But you have a new occupational therapist by your side, am I right?
Yes, it's Janice. She's actually the person who helped me realize that Karen wasn't using the best research on my mother. When she explained the guidelines for the critical review form for quantitative studies to me, I knew she was the one. She had me at study purpose.
That's a beautiful story. Janice, please explain this quantitative cap to me. How did you know the research Karen was using to treat Jim's mother wasn't appropriate?
The research articles were a mess. The authors of these journal articles didn't even clearly state the purpose of each study. That's usually always found in the abstract of the article, and again in more detail in the introduction. Without a clear statement, how could she even determine if the topic was important or relevant to Jim's mother? Scoff, the articles had all sorts of biases. There were sample selection biases, there were measurement detection biases such as recall bias and number of outcome measures used. There were even intervention performance biases. I know that contamination was taking place, and the site of treatment in the studies probably influenced the results as well because the site of treatment wasn't consistent among all groups. Before I apply an intervention to Jim's mother, I always do a cap on the article first.
Karen, how do you feel about Jim selecting another occupational therapist?
It's okay. It's all right. No sense in putting up a fight. It's alright. I don't care. Jim has sticky underwear.
In this week's episode of The Walking Dead, Carol returns.
Rick! I found a cure. I found the cure for the zombies. I know how to turn them back into humans. We just had to use evidence-based practice. Everyone has been sticking knives through the zombies' heads, but never took the time to search for more evidence. I searched on Sinol and OT Seeker. I used the keywords zombies and cure. The solution was right there all along. We completely forgot about the 6 steps of EBP. 1. Identify a need for information. 2. Formulate an evidence-based practice question. 3. Search for evidence. 4. Appraise and synthesize the evidence. 5. Apply the evidence to clinical practice. And 6. Evaluate the process. Rick, the evidence showed that to turn zombies back into humans, all we have to do is throw cheese sticks at them. See, Rick? It works. Cheese sticks work. Now please, can I join the group again? After all, I am carrying Carol's baby.